kind of an epic thing because today, for the first time since my surgery in July, I came and preached at the 8 o'clock service. Now, I got to tell you something. When that alarm went off at 5:30 this morning, I decided once and for all that it is truly uncivilized to go to church at 8 o'clock in the morning. I understand from whence you have come in terms of that. But it was wonderful to see those folks again, to be able to preach the good news of the gospel to them. Last week at this service, we were called away on medical emergency for our son-in-law, but you sang a wonderful Advent hymn. Now, there are some that are more difficult than others, but you sang, "Heart a thrilling voice is sounding, Christ is nigh, it seems to say. Cast away the works of darkness, O ye children of the day." Just a wonderful first verse of the hymn that captures what Advent is supposed to be about. That this joyful expectation of waiting on the coming of our Lord, both the first coming and the second coming, acknowledging that He is already here with us, that we are God's children, children of the light, called to cast out the works of darkness. So, and that's wonderful and joyful, and there is in this time a lot of joyful expectation. But there's also in this time a significant amount of disappointment. There's also in this time some despair. Because for some, this is a very difficult time of year. Our lessons for today kind of bear this out. First reading from the book of the prophet Isaiah is wonderful and powerful, written for those exiles in Babylon who will soon be coming back to the promised land, and the writer talks about how the land itself will bloom and blossom, and people will be restored and renewed. The blind will regain their sight. The deaf will hear, which is a wonderful thing for me to hear, or not. And the lame will jump for joy. Now, Jim had joy in there. I don't know if you noticed that, but he said the lame will leap for joy. It actually talks about joy in the next one. And those who have no speech will sing with joy. Well, I think leaping with joy is a wonderful thing. I cannot wait till I can leap with joy. That's a wonderful, wonderful message of hope. Recognizing that God will save. God will save. Well, then we move to the Epistle of James. And the Epistle of James was written ostensibly by James the Just, one of the apostles. Maybe not. But certainly it was written at that time to encourage the churches. It was not written to a specific audience, but intended to circulate. And what was happening at that point in time is Jesus told his followers that he would return before they died. Well, what happened? And the truth is, some folks were really disappointed in that. And so James says, the letter of James says, be patient, relax. You know that God has saved and God will save. So, don't be disappointed. God will save. Well, then we move to the gospel reading, and there are lots of ways to interpret this. But this day, I choose to interpret it in a particular way. John, the baptizer, is in prison. And he's disappointed. He's disappointed because Jesus did not come as the Messiah as they had all hoped. He did not come as a mighty warrior king to throw out those Roman dogs and to come with thunder and lightning and just slay them childhood? Well, he was a bad guy. Remember, one of the things that he did in terms of Jesus' coming, when the wise men came and told him about this king who should be born, he slew all the firstborn of the children of Israel. So that Herod was not much of a nice guy. His son was even worse. To give you an idea about how Herod Antipas worked, he seduced his brother's wife. And then he killed his brother and married his wife. And that's actually why John's in prison. And the rest of the story comes a little bit later. But what happens is Salome, his stepdaughter, dances the dance of the seven veils, and he is so overwhelmed and overcome. We can't talk about it in church, but it's sort of like going to Teens Lounge or something. I assure you, he was overcome. He said, I'll give you anything up to half my kingdom. And she asked her mama, Herodias, what to give? And she said, the head of John the Baptist on the platter. So John is in a place of despair. And he sends his disciples to Jesus and says, ask him if you are the one. And how does Jesus answer? He answers the same way that Isaiah spoke to those in exile in Babylon. He said, tell John what you see and hear. The blind receive their sight. The lame walk. The dead are raised. The poor have the joy of good news preached to them. So he was telling John not to despair, that God is at work. Well, we don't hear anything else from John until Jesus gets the news of his death. So in this time of year, there's much joyful expectation. There is disappointment. There is some despair as well. Now, I got to tell you, I'm going to pick on my daughter Maggie. We have in our family what we laughingly and kindly refer to as baby skates Christmas. Now, when Maggie was about 7 or 8 years old, she wanted one thing for Christmas and one thing only. She wanted baby skates. And I don't know, how many of y'all remember baby skates? All right, baby skates was this little baby that purportedly skated along with your child as they were skating. Well, Maggie was learning to skate. She was all in going skating at the skating rink. Well, all she wanted was baby skates for Christmas. Well, I don't know if we didn't know that, or if she wasn't, baby skates was not available, or, well, baby skates did not appear under the Christmas tree on Christmas Day. And Maggie was so incredibly disappointed. Marred, scarred, broken for life because she did not have baby. Well, that story goes on a little bit because the next Christmas, her little sister Kelsey got baby skates. Well, by this time, Maggie was over her disappointment. And the irony of it was that baby skates was not technologically very advanced. And she would take a couple steps and then fall on her back. So that took some of the sting out of Maggie. But Maggie's also known despair. Some years ago, she was visiting with us, and she made the decision. She had made some bad choices in her life at that time. She was in a program to become a naval officer. She was in school to become a Navy nurse and to receive a commission in the United States Navy. And she made some bad choices. She chose not to do what she needed to do for her schoolwork. She got a loan and spent all the money on alcohol and partying. And she was at a point of feeling that she was worth more dead than alive, that her body could be used and parceled out to many to help with that. And she was a nurse, and she had this plan that she was going to go in and get, at that point in time, not today, but at that point celebrated 4 years of a joy-filled marriage. And we rejoice with her in a 2.5-year-old that is just wonderful in all boy. So she came from the pits of despair to the grace of the knowledge of resurrection. In his book, A Hopeful Heart, John Claypool tells, Anthony is kind of complicated because it's one book that's written by a guy and a story written by another. But Anthony DeMello, many of you may know of his works. He's a Jesuit, an Indian who is Indian from India, who's a Jesuit priest who writes wonderful stories. And this is his favorite story. There's a Chinese farmer that lived way out in the country in China. And his one prized possession was his horse. And his horse did everything. His horse helped him to plow. His horse pulled the wagon when he went to market to sell his produce. When he needed to travel, the horse provided transportation. Well, one day, the horse was stung by a bee and ran off into the hills and was not able to be found. The people of the town said, "Oh, we are so sorry that you have such bad luck that you have lost your horse." He said, good luck, bad luck, who's to say? Well, a week later, the horse reappeared with 6 other horses he had found in the mountain. They were able to corral these horses, and the next week the people of the village came to him and said, "Such good luck that your horse has brought you 6 more horses." He said, good luck, bad luck, who's to say? Well, his son tried to increase this gift of wealth, tried to break these horses, and in the process, he himself broke his leg. The people of the town said, "Oh, we're so sorry for your bad luck of your son's broken leg." And he said, good luck, bad luck, who's to say? Well, the next week, in that city-state, the warlord chose to wage war against the next city-state, and he conscripted all of the able-bodied youth and all of the young men from that town left to go to war, and they were all killed, except the farmer's son with a broken leg. They said, "Oh, such good luck for you that your son did not have to go off to war." The farmer said, good luck, bad luck, who's to say? Well, the reason Anthony DeMello tells this story is that he believes that our understanding of life comes from a place of hope. He said it is presumptuous. It is presumptuous of us to despair, because that means we think we can see into the future. That's not true. What we have to base our lives in faith on is what we have known in the past. And he said that is patently structured with God's grace and God's love right in the middle of our lives. As I look around, I know in each one of us there have been moments of disappointment, moments of despair. an incredible strain of hope that runs through our lives, which is the presence of Jesus Christ that transforms and shares love, and that love is shared. Now, yesterday we had a funeral here. A funeral for one taken far too young. Karen Ferguson, who succumbed to brain cancer. We didn't even know it 8 months ago. She succumbed to brain cancer and died, and we celebrated her life yesterday. Well, I got to tell you, if you weren't here, or if you were here, sometimes things slip by detail. But I looked at the front of the bulletin, and I don't know where this came from, if it was her favorite. Was it her favorite Bible phrase? Okay, her niece picked this. And what it is, it's an anchor. And at the bottom of it, it says, have hope. And you can't read it, but it's from James chapter 6, verse 20. And it says, we have this hope, a sure and steadfast anchor for the soul, which is Jesus Christ our Lord. I got to tell you, we've been through some hard things. Jesus Christ has been present with us through all of it. Now, I was going to sing Heart for Thrilling Voices sounding and get you all excited, but I had a close moment yesterday. I had a close moment yesterday in one of the songs that we sang. And I haven't really cared for the song. It's okay. Listen to this. Because he lives, I can face tomorrow. Because he lives, all fear is gone. Because